Welcome to the COMC Community Spotlight Show, presented, of course, by the great folks at Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. And our guest this week, Pastor Michael Beene from Riverview Baptist. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Glad to be here today.
Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime we get around the holidays, we like to take a look at it from a Christian standpoint and see if there are any Christian ties back into the holiday. And since we're into the Thanksgiving period, I figured we'd kind of look at that with you. Okay, so where did you grow up, and what kind of Thanksgiving traditions did you have?
Yeah, I grew up in the Deep South. Grew up in Mississippi, and a little town called Macomb. I grew up there, mom and dad, brother and sister. And, you know, Thanksgiving was always a special day for us. Really, traditions, there was one big one that was almost inescapable. Of course, you always had the food, you had the turkey, you had all that good stuff, and some football. But the big thing that mom and dad did was we would always stop, and everyone had to go around the table and give at least one thing that they were thankful for, because we were raised in a Christian home, and the day really, I think, has its greatest meaning when we give thanks to God. And so that was a big part of our home, was everybody had to go through and say, hey, what is it that God has done or given you that you're thankful for?
Did you look forward to that, or did you like, oh, here we go again?
Yeah, to be honest, in the teenage years, there were moments where, it felt a little rote. I'll say that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Thanksgiving, important in the Bible. It talks a lot about giving thanks, especially when you're praying. Why is it important for folks to be thankful? What's the big deal?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, it's interesting. I say the reason we need to be thankful is actually twofold. One is a very practical reason, one is a spiritual reason. The practical reason is there's actually research that shows those who live with gratitude and thankfulness actually live longer lives.
Really?
Yeah, that there are actually health benefits to being a grateful person. Of course, you can't fake that, but if you're a generous and grateful person, there's evidence you'll actually live longer. But the spiritual perspective is this. God has given us everything that we have, everything that we experience in this life, everything we know, taste, touch, smell, feel. It all belongs to Him. And so it's really just a moment for us to be still and to remember, if I get to enjoy a meal at Thanksgiving, if I have family around the table, if I have anything good in my life, it really is a gift from God. And so I'm going to give gratitude back to Him. And so as a Christian, you know, that's one of the things that I believe helps us live out faith in a way that pleases God. The Bible tells us that God loves a cheerful giver. He wants us to be a glad people and a thankful people.
Yeah, so He doesn't want to, He doesn't want you to like pry open that wallet and the moths fly out or anything. He wants you to be happy about it.
That's exactly right, yeah.
So is there a reason why people who are thankful live longer and are healthier? Is there any thought to that?
That research is interesting. It shows that generally those individuals have more meaningful relationships. They have deeper relationships. That those individuals generally have lower blood pressure, I think, and several other benefits along the way as well.
Interesting. Okay, so remember that. Thankfulness is good for the health and the heart.
Good for the soul and the body.
And everything else. Do you have a favorite holiday? Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter? I had a guy say his anniversary was his favorite.
Oh, there you go.
Of course, his wife was in the room.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say, you may need to say that. Yeah. For me, it really is Christmas. I love Thanksgiving. That's a huge one. And as a pastor, obviously, Easter is meaningful. But Christmas is one that, for me, stirs my heart in meaningful ways every year.
Yeah. So you come from Mississippi. Big change. Do you love it in Missouri? Would you rather be back south or what?
No, we're really grateful to be here. My family and I, we have now lived at the lake a little over 11 years at this point.
Okay.
I came to Riverview Baptist Church as the associate pastor at the time, and eventually became the senior, and we love the lake. We're grateful for the area. It's beautiful. It's full of God's glory. Grateful for the people, and we're grateful for our church family. We really are, I think, rooted here. And it's a great place to raise kids, great place to obviously enjoy the sports and the nature. And so, in many ways, do we miss home? Yeah, sure, some. But in other ways, this really does feel like home for us.
Yeah, and you guys are growing. at Riverview Baptist. I think you're adding on to the facility?
Yeah, that's a blessing. We are hoping to break ground in the month of November, actually. So we're looking to expand our church facilities and add on to a lobby, which will actually also in its own way provide some extra seating in our sanctuary. And yeah, we're excited about that.
I think I've been in the church one time, and it was a lot of hallways, a lot of narrow hallways.
Yes.
Because I'm guessing it's like an older church, right? It's probably been around for a while.
It is. It's, I believe, 141 years at this point.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 141 years, 1887. So
that was that church there when the lake came into being, or did they have to move?
Yeah,
from lower.
Riverview has a lot of story and a lot of history with that. So you can actually hear it, Riverview. We were actually, our original location for the church was down HH, and there's actually a Riverview cemetery right across from Little Rizzo's, the restaurant there.
Okay, yeah.
And so in that area was really the original location of the church, and there was a view of the Osage River at the time, and so they were Riverview.
Right.
It was, I believe, in the 40s that the church really began to look at, we need to potentially make a move. And so then moved to the location we're at today.
A little higher ground.
A little higher
there.
ground,
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
Still got a nice view up there on that ridge.
Absolutely,
though, right?
Yeah.
So it's Riverview Baptist. They are growing. They're adding on. You'll probably see some construction in the next few months there on their site. So we're going to continue to talk about Thanksgiving, what that means from a Christian standpoint. It's Pastor Michael Beene, Riverview Baptist. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more on the COMC Community Spotlight Show. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center offers 3 OBGYNs at the Osage Beach Clinic and 2 pediatricians with same-day appointments available. At COMC, our doors are open to everyone with 5 primary care locations conveniently located across the Ozarks. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. Welcome back to the COMC Community Spotlight Show, talking about Thanksgiving. It's Pastor Michael Beene, Riverview Baptist Church, with us here. You have been here for about 11 years, grew up in Mississippi, so a long way from home here in Missouri. When did you know you wanted to be a pastor?
Yeah, I really knew in high school. I felt the call to ministry in high school, and at the time thought I would be a youth pastor, and actually did 10 years of youth ministry. Did that, some in Mississippi, some in Texas, lived in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I got my seminary degree, and then also did youth ministry during that time. Eventually got the opportunity to come here to Missouri. I'd never heard of Osage Beach, and I remember at the very first time I heard that, I thought there's a beach in Missouri? What in the world is this about? But one of my dear friends in seminary was the senior pastor at Riverview at the time, and gave me a call and asked me to come and serve as associate pastor, and so the rest is kind of history there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Is your wife from like Mississippi? Did you bring her along, or is she from here?
Yeah, she is. She's from Mississippi as well. We actually met in high school, so we're high school sweethearts. Dated through college, and then got married right after college, moved off to seminary, and now have 2 kids together.
Wonderful.
So,
Thanksgiving, we all have heard this story. We grew up with the elementary story of the Pilgrims and the Indians, and they come together, they have this Thanksgiving. What they don't tend to tell you is that they were in some pretty difficult times.
That's exactly right.
A lot of the Pilgrims had died away, and they were really just trying to live, and yet they're having this Thanksgiving celebration. Is it important to find things to be thankful for in hard times?
Oh, absolutely. I think that is one of the challenges of our day in many ways. We live in a time where, if life's not easy, well, then I'm not thankful. I'm not grateful. I have a chip on my shoulder. I'm upset. As a pastor, I deal with people that are walking through hardship and suffering in various ways, whether that's through the loss of a loved one or through some sort of serious illness or otherwise. And one of the things that we always try to help our people remember at Riverview is the all-surpassing reason that we have to be thankful is actually not our circumstances. It is the love of God given to us in Jesus Christ. And so those Pilgrims, at the very first Thanksgiving, one of the things that they were thanking God for was His provision and was the fact that He had carried them through. But the reason they felt it was important to do that was they understood that God had saved them, that God had given them this opportunity in this new land, and that He had provided and carried them through a difficult season.
Yeah.
Essentially, it was a reminder of His faithfulness. And I think that's one of the great gifts of Thanksgiving, is if we can remember God's faithfulness in that moment. Hey, He has carried me through so many things, and He'll prove Himself faithful again. That can oftentimes spur Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and that is a reoccurring theme too. I mean, it happened at the first Thanksgiving. I mean, they were just struggling to survive,
That's right, yeah.
really. But when I think it was President Lincoln kind of reinstated Thanksgiving.
That's exactly right. Yep.
During the Civil War, and those were some really hard times. So it's not that this all came about just to celebrate how great we have it. Mm-hmm. It's to try to find something to be thankful for in hard times.
Yes. And I do think that, again, is one of the great things that many of us miss in the moment. If we build Thanksgiving in our lives around only family, if we build it around only a football game, or only a meal or money, eventually, for every one of us, those things can change. Those things can come and go. But the good news is Jesus Christ is the one who remains the same. The book of Hebrews tells us, that Jesus Christ, in fact, is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And so it is His unchanging love, it is His unfailing presence that really is the root of Christian Thanksgiving.
Yeah, absolutely. What is you were talking earlier about, you talk to a lot of people who are going through hard times. That's just part of the job of a pastor,
yeah.
Right? Does that get you down at all sometimes? Does that make life difficult when you're always dealing with people going through hard times?
Yeah. If I'm being honest, there are moments where it does weigh on me.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. But I think actually there's a verse, it's one of my favorite verses in all the Bible, John 16:33, where Jesus says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. He says, in the world you will have trouble, but take heart, I've overcome the world.
Right.
And so to me, there's a lot of peace and actually reason to give thanks. He actually says it right there. He says, I'm realistic. There is trouble in a fallen world.
Yeah.
There is pain. There are problems. And it's not necessarily that you're going to overcome those on your own, but I've overcome those for you. And so in me, you can have peace. I have conquered sin and death. I'm for you.
Yeah.
And again, I think embracing those truths is really one of the main jobs that I have as a pastor, helping people embrace those truths, whether that's at a hospital bed or in a church pew. But then also hopefully around the Thanksgiving table, that, I do think at times it was corny for me as a teenager, mom and dad making us go around and give thanks. But now I see what they were doing.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate them trying to make Thanksgiving more than just the meal, more than just the day off of work or the day off of school, but to drive it home to Christ.
Yeah. Is there any tips, especially since you have kids, that parents can do to make Thanksgiving meaningful for the kids?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of kids are a little confused as to why is Thanksgiving such a big deal, other than the history.
The food.
It tastes, good food, and lots of family coming to town typically. And a lot of people watch football. But if we stop there, I do think children miss the meaning. And so I think really there's two very basic, very simple things you can do with your kids around the Thanksgiving table. One, pray. Take just a moment to actually, appoint a time for someone at the table to pray and just center the meal and offer thanks to God. But then secondly, I do think it's very simple. Most of us have a favorite Bible verse. Just to share that at the dinner table and say, hey, this is a verse that's meaningful for me. And the reason we give thanks is because of God's faithfulness to us. Yeah. And so, yeah.
That's a good idea. Okay, we're out of time, but if folks want to find out more about Riverview Baptist, how do they do that?
Yeah, a couple ways. We do have social media and Facebook, and so you can visit our Facebook page, Riverview Baptist Church. The other way is our website. So www.rbclake.org is where we're located.
RBC Lake.
Yep.
I had a hard time with that one for some reason. Thank you, Pastor.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
glad to
Happy
be here.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show.